Wow. She's back. Hi. How are you? Welcome back to Talking Nonsense with Rache. This is episode 11, which is crazy. Welcome to the second phase of this podcast, I guess. Before we get into it, I wanted to thank you for understanding that I needed a break last week. We're going to talk about that break in this episode. Also, sorry about my voice if it sounds a little off. I'm not feeling very well. I think I'm coming down with a cold, and I don't like it. I can't seem to catch a break. It's a little frustrating, but I didn't have a whole lot to talk about. I have like a couple things, but I think they're big enough things for me that we'll have a good episode. So, hi, welcome back. As I said, it's episode 11. That's wild. I'm back in my office. It's like 8 p.m. on Saturday night. And I know I usually upload on Fridays, but it's going up on a Sunday this week. Because things have been kind of falling apart on my end of things. Both my body, my mind, and my responsibilities. So, thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. So, why did I need a break? I actually posted about this break. Kind of explaining it as I suffered an arm injury, and I'm pulling up my what I said. Maybe I should have thought of this before, but hey, I've had some pretty intense pain in my right arm, and it hasn't gone away. I'm coming up on 2 weeks now of this pain, and this is both normal and not normal for me. So I feel like I've mentioned it before in an episode, but I have this like weird arm condition that I haven't gotten a proper diagnosis for, because every time I go in, everyone's like, I don't know. Take some Tylenol, I guess. And that's about it. But basically, I can, unfortunately, not by choice, but my bones shift around in both of my arms, and I dislocate my body way too often. And that happened 2 Tuesdays ago, right? What day is it? It happened on the 17th of this month. And basically, hello, here's the situation. Sometimes I wear a sling, but I'm finding that right now the sling is actually making it worse, so I'm not wearing it. But my wrist popped out, these 3 fingers popped out, my elbow popped out, and my shoulder got messed up. Everything is pretty much back in place, but I think I tore something in my elbow and bruised something in my shoulder, and it's really not awesome. It's severely uncomfortable, actually, to the point where I was supposed to submit my midterm yesterday, and I had to ask for an extension because I can't even... I couldn't even do it. Like, my brain was so focused on the pain I was in that I couldn't even process anything else. So I got a little bit of an extension to Monday, which is, coming up. Still have not started it. But, it'll get done. That's the important part. yeah, so that's mainly been what's going on with me since episode 10. Because of this pain, I actually had to unfortunately quit one of my jobs, the one that was more labor intensive. That was my job as a baker, and that was pretty unfortunate. That kind of sucked. I mean, it's never nice leaving a job, at least in my experience. And I enjoyed that job for what it was. So it was unfortunate that it kind of came to that, but you know, I'd rather heal than force my body through more pain. So that happened this week. On Tuesday this week. So a week after it happened, I could tell it was not getting any better. And usually, like, if like my wrist pops out or anything happens with my arms, usually it lasts like a day, couple days, max a week. But now we're on 2 weeks and it's not getting any better. If anything, it's getting worse. So yeah. Yeah, that's like the main thing that happened with me that I wanted to share with you guys. I did write down a couple of things that I wanted to talk about that kind of just came to my brain since the last episode. The first thing, I don't remember if I actually mentioned this in episode 1 when I talked about Gordon Ramsay, but I watch a lot of Hell's Kitchen. All right, I watch a lot of Hell's Kitchen, and I talked about that for sure in that episode. And I swear I talked about this. I must have, but I have always had this thought in my brain that I could do like a recap of every Hell's Kitchen season, and I just haven't. Like, what's with that? And I'll show you kind of the idea I had with it. It's basically copying one of my favorite creators. But if you've heard of Mike's Mike, hello. Yeah, also I'm showing you a video today. So get ready for that. But Mike's Mike is one of my favorite creators, and he did this series a year ago now about Pretty Little Liars, and it broke the internet pretty much. And now, like, a lot of people are doing similar styles, and I saw it and immediately was like, oh my god, this would be perfect for Hell's Kitchen. So I'm thinking about doing that. I think it would be so fun. And so I was thinking about that a lot after episode 10. Here, this kind of idea. Okay, like, picture it, you know, all of the chefs around. It probably wouldn't be like this, but you get the idea. Faces on the wall. If you're listening on Spotify, I'm showing a screenshot from Mike's part 1 of his Pretty Little Liars series of the Pretty Little Liars cast on the wall with strings connecting them based on plot points or relationships or whatever. So that kind of idea, but with Hell's Kitchen contestants, and it changes every season. We go through the plot. It's weird calling it a plot, but go through the season and, you know, remove contestants as they get eliminated. It's all in here, and I'm sure I have an easier way to explain it, but not at the moment. On top of that, same idea of same realm, same thought process in a way, but if I talked through historical events in the same style, I feel like that would be so fun for me and also chaotic enough for you that it would be entertaining. Let me know your thoughts on that. I don't have an example, but it was a thought that I had. So there you go. Other news. 17, because I must talk about 17 in every episode of this podcast, apparently. 17 came out with a new mini album last week. Actually, earlier this week. It's called 17th Heaven, and it is amazing. And I just wanted to tell you that I really enjoyed it, and that my favorite song on it at the moment is God of Music, with Yawn being second and Monster being third. It's so good. Thank you very much. Third thing, and the thing that's probably going to take the longest for me to talk about, is this other creator who I watch religiously, basically. Her name is Allie, and she said something in a recent video of hers that just like struck a chord with me, because it was exactly how I felt at the time and still feel right now. And some background on this topic, this conversation that I'm going to show you that she has with her viewers. It's long, so I kind of skimmed through it a little bit to get to the part that really resonated with me. But I highly recommend that you go and you watch the whole clip. It's about 26 minutes into her video, and I'll leave it linked if you wanted to go and actually like watch the whole thing. But Allie was diagnosed later in life as an adult with autism, and she talks with her viewers pretty often about her coming to understand herself now that she has this diagnosis. And this is a conversation that kind of has to do with that, and also her chronic migraines that she gets, which just makes things like extra difficult. And that in itself kind of struck with me, because, you know, I have this chronic arm thing where I can't do a lot of activities anymore without hurting myself. So, or if I have something like this, I have to cut my night short because I'm in so much pain. Like, that literally happened to me last night. I was hanging out with some friends and they were like, yeah, let's go somewhere else now that we're done dinner. I went home instead because I was in so much pain that I couldn't I couldn't do it anymore. So this struck a chord with me, and it is like her getting ready. So the clip is really close up, but I think that makes it even more relatable, because it's kind of like that idea of shower thoughts, you know, like those things you think about in the shower that just feel more real. Or even if you think of like weird things in the shower, like, I don't know, look up shower thoughts on Twitter or something. But let's get into this clip. Audio listeners, you will be able to hear it. So, hello, Allie. Let's get into it.
I don't like to say that, like, I don't belong anywhere. I don't think that's helpful. I don't want to believe in that or manifest that or whatever. But, you know, when I get down and out, when I'm having a meltdown over having a lovely time with my friend and, like, I can't even understand myself, I can't help but think, like, oh, I was born a little bit broken and I'm tired and I'm kind of sick of being tired. I'm really sick of being tired. Like, I'm trying so hard to do all the things, and I have to set up boundaries for myself so I don't die. That's the thing. I'm consistently comparing myself to younger versions of myself that, like, did more. I'm like, oh, but 19-year-old Allie was doing this and 17-year-old Allie was doing that. But also, those Allies almost died. And that's not an exaggeration. Like, those versions of me almost did not make it. So maybe I should not be basing my current life off of that well-intentioned, very excited, but overall pretty ignorant to the situation girl. And I don't know where the balance is. I don't know when to say yes and I don't know when to say no. And I don't know how to listen to my intuition if she's not making any noise. Or if that intuition is to just people please and not take care of myself. And I don't understand why my body can't understand the difference between like positive stress and negative stress.
Audio cut.
Because I could be having so much better of a time, you know? By the way, people often ask, I have some freckles, but this is...
Freckle intermission. Hang on. Hang on.
Anyway, these are just some things that have been on my mind and have been causing me to spiral ever so slightly because it makes me so mad to think how hard we're all trying and how hard it all is, and how hopeless it can feel sometimes despite our best efforts. You know, I'm sure you do. I'm sure I don't need to explain that to you. And I don't know how to fix it. I journal and I exercise and I try and schedule my days so there's few surprises as possible. The transitions can be as easy as possible. Like, I feel like I'm doing everything by the book, and I think that's what makes it the most frustrating, is that even when so much effort is put forth, it's still like this. And then it's hard to have the motivation to keep seeing those things through when you know that you're still gonna be punching yourself and crying at the end of the day. Something that helps me, I guess, is at least recognizing how far I have come. I used to be a much angrier, sadder, more unraveled person. There was so much I didn't know about myself, and that made it so I couldn't be a good version of myself. And even though there's still a lot of hard times, it's still so much better than it was. And so, based on math, which, yeah, sure, maybe I'm really bad at that, but according to my calculations, that just means that it's gonna keep improving, hopefully, maybe. So it really is all about taking it one day at a time. When you are having a meltdown, even though it doesn't change anything, remember that it's gonna end. And I guess just think about the things that you can do for yourself to care for yourself after you have a big feeling like that, because feeling is exhausting. Oh my goodness. That's what's been on my mind lately. That's what I've been struggling with a little bit, a lot of it. I know that this has nothing to do with books. Oh well.
Yeah, her channel is mainly about books. But when I watched that video, I was sitting there. I think I watched it actually immediately after finishing episode 10. And I was like, I was speechless. Because I find that sometimes like creators who vlog their life, or like they like to be real with their audience or whatever, when they like talk about their feelings and stuff, like, it's really hard for me to understand those feelings, because a lot of the time I don't get it. Like, not that I don't get it, but I don't know how they feel. Like, I don't understand what they're talking about. But with that one that Allie has, I felt like I could relate to it for the first time in a long time. Like, I kind of went on a rant about this on Twitter, actually. Let me pull up my rant. But I have always been really bad with communicating regularly with people, and it's something that I try to get better at, but at the end of the day I can't figure it out. And I know that sounds so ridiculous, and I've mentioned it to people before, and they're like, well, just call people, just like send a text to someone. It's literally 2 seconds, like even just a hey. It's so easy. Just do it. And they don't understand what I mean when I say that I can't even think that way. I can't think that way. And it's really frustrating. Where is it? Yeah, here, let me read this to you because it was very raw emotion as I was thinking it in the moment. Okay. This is a quote from my Twitter. Sometimes I just don't have the energy to call you. It's not because I'm upset with you or anything. It's just a part of life that I really struggle with. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm sorry if it upsets you. You mean a lot to me, I promise. But conversing with people when I don't have a specific reason to has always been difficult for me. If I'm not standing in front of you or sitting next to you or something like that, I will forget to call you, text you, etc. It's something I'm trying to work on, but I just can't figure it out. I don't know why. And like, I'm dead serious when I say that I still care about my friends and my family and everything, and I always feel so guilty. I get this overwhelming sense of guilt whenever I have to go to like a family function or even like meeting a family member for lunch even or them calling me or something. Like, I get this immediate like punch in the gut basically of guilt, because I'm like, I realize in the moment, I'm like, oh my God, I haven't talked to you in weeks or maybe even months. And that it's, I should be, like, I care about you. You're my friend. You're my family member. Like, I want to have this relationship with you where we call each other often and update each other on our lives, even if we don't see each other very often. But in my day-to-day life, I can't think that way. The only way I have that thought in my head is if I have a question for you, or if I have something very specific. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to tell this person. And even then, sometimes I forget immediately and then it never happens. But it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. And it's a part of my brain that I don't quite understand, and I am starting to believe I never will understand. And that in itself is frustrating. But yeah. That I wanted to share that clip with you because I have meltdowns often about things like that. Things that I notice about myself, or that I have noticed about myself recently, that upset me or that confuse me, and then I have this meltdown and I spiral about it for probably too long. And I feel so selfish. Even though I know I'm not, like, I don't do it intentionally. And I feel like a lot of people in my life feel like I do it intentionally, and I just don't care enough. When that's not true. I care a lot. But I think I get so overwhelmed with even the idea of having to contact anyone, doesn't matter who it is, but I get so overwhelmed that it just doesn't happen. And I like push it off, and I'm like, oh, I'll text them later, I'll call them later, maybe. I don't know, okay? It happens in the moment. I'm just guessing at this point. But yeah, that was relatable for me. What other What other news do I have? Oh, my chickens actually started laying eggs this week. I have a picture, if I can find it. If I can find it. Ah, haha. These are the first eggs that we got. We now have 8 eggs. And I'm very proud of the little babies. So everyone say congratulations to Rache's chickens. They laid 3 eggs their first day of laying, and now we have 8 after like about a week. So it's very exciting. I am exhausted now. I'm going to end the episode here. I will be back next week. I promise. I need to get back into the swing of things. Life doesn't rest, even though I desperately want rest. Yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for your patience for this episode. Sorry it's a couple days late. But hopefully you had a lovely weekend, are having a lovely weekend, and that you have a great week. And I will see you on Friday, because I'm going to go back to Friday uploads. Or should I do Saturday uploads? Now that I don't work on Saturdays, I'm thinking we could do Saturday uploads. We'll move it to Saturdays. Because I can definitely promote it on time on Saturdays. So we will be uploading at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Saturdays from here on out. So I will see you for episode 12 on Saturday. Thank you for being here. I have been Rach. I have been talking nonsense. And I hope you have a lovely week ahead. And I will see you in November. Have a great Halloween. Have a great Halloween. I will share about my Halloween experience if I even end up doing anything in episode 12. But I will see you then. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.